should check when I uploaded my, like, return to YouTube. This is something that I should totally not be doing right now, but I'm gonna take a look, because I've posted 186 videos, 186, I believe, videos. But then, when did I, like, come back to YouTube from, because I started this channel in, like, February of 2000. I published my first video in September of 2021. And then, okay. And then I came back to YouTube on November of November 14th, 2023. We're almost coming up on like a year. I should actually do something. What day is November 14th instead of Tuesday? Oh, it's a Monday. Well, but the day after is a trigger word Tuesday. Maybe I make something of that. That might actually be a good idea. Okay, anyway, sorry, this is like fully off on a tangent. I'm sorry. Welcome to my brain though. Okay. There we go. So, you might have just seen that. I might have cut it out. I don't know. I don't like making too many like structural cuts though. But today is Halloween. It is Halloween, and I'm not, I've said this on the channel before, well, in my Q&A video, I am not a huge fan of Halloween. I seriously considered putting on one of my old barista aprons for this, but then I was like, well, it's not really Halloween themed, but, there's something coming. It's not seasonal in November, but whatever, it's all good, mate, it's all good. It will be unseasonal, but I am nothing if not a procrastinator. So, this is the first of the member videos for October, of course, coming out on October 31st. I will get the others out here in this first week of November. October has just gone by, like, stupidly quickly. Like, I have no clue why it has gone like this, but hey, but you know, life goes on. I just wish it wouldn't go so quick. Because, like, it was October 1st, like, a week ago. It feels like it really is. It really is kind of wild how quickly, specifically this October, has gone. Mostly because, like, often I will find that, like, this is probably since 2020, like, probably since, well, March of 2020, honestly, it was lockdown that really did this. Time has just seemed, like, weird. I swear, it has felt like 10 years between today and 2020, March of 2020. Like, I know it will be 5 years, like, in a couple of months, but, like, it truly does not, like, time has been going so slow, and not in a bad way. I felt like I've been able to, like, really sort of feel that time going by slowly. Like, I felt like I worked at Starbucks for 5 years. It feels like I worked at the pool for, like, 3, and I worked at the pool for, like, 4.5. Like, it's weird. user, whoever, I hate your opinion and you're stupid. We're not doing that. If I see that in the comments, done. I'm deleting your comment. But I would like you all to respect these people's opinions because I have read through all of them and none of them include hate. None of them include anything like that. So, that being said, these people, like I said, have commented. They've put something out there. You do not have to agree with it. You don't have to have the same opinion. I do not have the same opinion as some of these people. And that is okay. And that is okay. This is for fun. This is for fun. So treat it that way. It's not that big of a deal. This is a YouTube video. If you really don't like something, click away. It is not that big of a deal. And like I said, nobody's being racist or homophobic or transphobic or whatever in these. If there were any like that, they would not be included in the list because that's not an opinion. That's just fucking hateful. So, now that we have gotten that out of the way, we can all be mature. Please. So, I just wrote these down in the order that I received them. The first unpopular opinion is from Lunamoth, and some of you wrote one, some of you wrote a couple. That is okay. Lunamoth has 4. So Lunamoth's first unpopular opinion is that Paris is not that romantic. This one is interesting. I wouldn't know because, of course, I personally have never been to Paris, and I also consume Western media, so of course Paris is like this, like, oh my god, beautiful place that is, of course, like the city of romance and all that kind of stuff. I think Europe just has that kind of marketing in general. I would probably agree with you that the majority of it is marketing. I would like to see it. I would like to see Paris. But it's interesting that you would say that it is not actually that romantic. So I guess one day I will have to go for myself. To be honest, and this is no offense to French people, I feel like Italy is a little bit more conducive to that just because it's slightly warmer. Italy or the south of France. I'll give you that. The south of France is absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure like Monaco would probably be a really nice place too. Okay. Second one. Nothing is wrong with barefoot walking. It can actually make you healthier. This one, I've heard the science on it. This one I cannot get behind. I'm sorry. I have like a huge sensory thing with my feet. I can't even walk down into my basement without feeling like my feet are ambiently dirty. And that is probably the ADHD and anxiety or whatever's going on in my head talking. But I have heard that barefoot walking in public or / outside is decent for your health because it's like having a pet in the home, where like you're exposing yourself to a little bit more, you're exposing your immune system to more sort of diverse sets of bacteria. So you're actually doing yourself a favor. You're strengthening your own immune system to a certain extent. The other thing is that I am a barefoot walker in my house if it is one of my like brain's approved zones. Does that make sense? Like I will not go out like in my garage. There's a landing with like carpeted steps, and I take off my shoes before going on those steps. So technically, no shoes step on the landing with the carpeted steps. But that's like a no-go zone for my feet. Same thing with like the little mud room. Like we walk in from the garage and there's like a little coat hanging area and a place for shoes and mitts and whatever. We don't put our shoes there, but the mud room, can't go back there. Same thing with the pantry. Can't go into the pantry with bare feet. I can't go into the kitchen with bare feet. Dining room and the bare feet. Well, the lower floor of the house is basically all just one room. You've basement, won't go down there with bare feet. Front entryway, won't go there with bare feet. And then upstairs is like my safe zone. I will go upstairs with bare feet. I'm weird. But outdoors, I just wouldn't be able to stand it, but I applaud you if you want to do that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see. What does that say? Oh, that's somebody else's username. Never mind. The third one is something that I completely disagree with, but I can possibly see the angle that you're coming from. Human babies aren't that cute. I have to disagree. I love a baby in the way that, especially like, okay, a newborn baby, adorable when they're all like, when the cap is on and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, there's something like motherly where I'm just like, I just want to take care of that little sort of bundle. But I can see this was, okay, I used to teach swimming lessons, and of course, the youngest age that I could teach was 6 months old, except 6 months old to 3 years old, they had to have the parent in the water with them, or whoever was there with them, like aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, guardians, things like that, in the water with them while I was teaching. And of course, this means that I have seen probably, like, in my little town, I've probably, like, they're growing now, obviously. They're probably, like, some of the kids are probably, like, 8 years old at this point. So, like, I have taught a good majority of the young children in my town swimming lessons. And so I've seen, like, I would put it upwards of 200 babies in my lifetime where I was, like, seeing them consistently. There is something slightly ornery about a baby that is adorable to me. Like when they get sort of, they do have like a little scrunchy, wrinkly face, but that's what makes me love them. It's weird. Like, I find them legitimately cute, and then I also find it when they're not maybe having their best hair day, or maybe their best like looks day. I also find that adorable, because when a baby is annoyed, there is almost nothing more cute than that. Because, so for context, we, in parented swimming lessons, dunking is the biggest thing. We want to get kids as comfortable as early as possible with being shoved under the water, dunked, and brought back up, obviously. Like, yeah. But, like, that is to get used to sudden water in the face. It's to get them back to that point where they are holding their breath and closing their eyes as a reflex. That is the whole purpose of it. Blowing bubbles is the next one, to get them used to exhaling underwater. So, there is almost nothing cuter than a semicircle of babies when you have dunked them under the water, brought them back up, and they're all like, they've got like these scrunchy faces, and they're like, they've been disturbed. Like I said, they're slightly ornery, and I cannot help it. I find that fucking adorable. And like, I don't know, I really do think it's a preference thing, because I have a very good friend, my friend who got married in May. She's like, love a baby. She taught swimming lessons as well, but she's like, not for me. I don't find them as cute as other people do. So it's definitely a thing. It's just that I find, even when a baby is like ugly, I find that like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I've been around babies a lot. But then again, my friend, she has also, but then she doesn't find see the appeal. But anyway, it's a very interesting opinion, I find. It's very interesting. And then the fourth one, not sure if this is an unpopular opinion, but Lunamoth dislikes the Twilight books and assigned to me, but we were able to choose whatever we could. And I chose those two because I had seen a video by Folding Ideas here on YouTube. Fantastic YouTube channel, especially to like fall asleep to, but also just like generally very informative, doing like a deep dive on the 50 Shades series. And I saw the first deep dive on the first 50 Shades of Grey movie and book, and weirdly, of course the books are trash. No offense if you like them, but I just don't find them compelling at all. Maybe there's an unpopular opinion, maybe. An unpopular opinion in 2015, definitely. Or 16, yeah, well, both. But the first movie, I do not mind. I find the first movie a compelling watch in places, specifically because of that Folding Ideas video, and then I did a paper kind of like building off of that. So that is like the closest brush I've had with Twilight. For reference, 50 Shades of Grey is built off of Twilight fanfiction, written by E.L. James. But I know for a fact that if you had said this when I was in junior high, that you don't like the Twilight books or movies, Lord help you. Lord help you. But I don't know if this is necessarily, I know Twilight's kind of having like a thing right now, but I don't know if this is necessarily unpopular, but I can't really weigh in. Taylor Lautner is hot though. I'll give him that. Taylor Lautner from that era. Also, when I was a kid, I had a crush on him as Shark Boy. And Ash Ketchum, weirdly enough. But that was when I was like, that was probably, yeah, that was in elementary school. Yeah, I should have realized I was gay way earlier. The next opinion comes from Silliest Goose Ever, and this is an interesting take. Pineapple on pizza was never that unpopular. I can kind of see this. I can kind of understand where you're coming from. I do find generally that it is divisive when, again, swimming lessons are coming up a lot in this video. When I taught swimming lessons, same thing if we ever had a staff meeting at Starbucks, there was sometimes for swimming lessons on weekends, the sort of time slot was larger, so we would have a break in the middle, like we would have more classes on like weekend mornings. So we would have a break in the middle, of course, because the government mandates it. But every now and again, there would be snack, and somebody would inevitably, during the week, order a pizza. Or a couple of pizzas. And it would legit, this is before the whole like pineapple on pizza thing became like an internet thing. It is, I do think, legitimately divisive. But I agree with you in that I think that the internet loves to capitalize on things like this because it starts a conversation, and then the more comments that you have, the easier it is to drive engagement and sell advertising slots. So I do think that the pineapple on pizza thing, and like the white and gold versus blue and black dress, the Yanny or it might depend on the country, essentially, is what the sort of spirit of the last part of the comment was. And I will say that at least where I am from, there is a massive amount of, like, a truly irresponsible level of pressure that is placed upon high school students here in my corner of Canada, and honestly I think probably wider Canada as well, to go into post-secondary and to have an idea of what you are going to be. Because so many of my students, when I was lifeguarding, like, they were thinking about it, and my lifeguarding students were like 14 to 17, where like 17 is of course when you start thinking about that kind of stuff, but like having a 14-year-old being like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but my parents are like putting so much pressure on me. That's like way too much to think about at that age. I am fully in favor of a gap year. I'm fully in favor of a gap year. I'm not going to do specifics, but there is a member of my family who is pushing another member of my family so hard to go into post-secondary education, and this the younger member of my family is still in high school, does not want to / does not know what they want to do, which is completely valid, because saying at the age of 17, statistically most kids are applying for university at the age of 17, telling those kids that you need to make your post-secondary life decision right now. Like, no wonder you have so many people feeling lost or feeling too much pressure, and the fact that literally everything needs a degree nowadays forces these kids into wasting 2 years. And I mean, tuition's pretty high in Canada right now. Well, where I am especially, it's essentially doubled since I was in university, and that was like the last year that I had to pay for university was 2020. So it's doubled in like, it's doubled in like 3.5 years. So that's not great. But like, you're gonna waste 10 grand taking just whatever the hell, only to realize that maybe you don't want to do that. And sure, this is what open studies are for, but also you can go and upgrade, which is essentially like, if your marks from high school are quote unquote not that great, you can go upgrade them. Say if you did like the lower stream of English, or the lower stream of math, or the lower stream of science, or you need to do physics and you didn't do physics, you can go take upgrading classes either in the summer, and most post-secondary institutions offer this around me. Oh, you can hear, I think there's a truck outside. But like, take a gap year, upgrade, do a certificate, do a diploma. I really do feel like there is too much pressure on kids these days to just go into post-secondary and figure it out as you go. And that's why, at least in my friend group, there was a lot of people who did not want to go into post-secondary education, but they were forced to by their parents. And then they were going to this, at the time, super expensive university, and now it's gotten worse, obviously. Super expensive education, only to not go into the field that they went into university for, regret taking it. I had a friend who switched their degree 5 different times, and they were in university for 7 years at that point. They switched a 6th time. They took like 3 more years because a lot of their credits were not applicable, and they spent so much fucking money for nothing. Of course, it's like a good experience and you're learning, but I just find that it makes me so, like, it almost makes my chest tighten up. But yeah, kids from my graduating class, like, it has become a joke among a couple of my friends that, like, if you graduated in the year 2016 from my high school, you either ended up in kinesiology or education, which, like, those are perfectly fine So, I think it's a generational thing. But the next unpopular opinion is from Meg. And this one I could not agree more with. You and I are completely aligned on this. Respect is always earned, not given, no matter who you are. Absolutely. I am a huge proponent of you don't owe me anything unless, I respect you and then you respect me in return. I think it's a two-way street. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it truly is. Respect is a two-way street for sure. I used to say this to my lifeguarding students. Again, it's coming up a lot, but those kids were, again, 14 to 17, and a lot of the sort of my fellow instructors were like, they have no respect. They don't even, give a shit half the time. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're approaching it wrong. You are trying to be like, I did this course to be able to teach you how to lifeguard, so you must respect me. Really? No. That's not how that works. Especially if you're a teacher or if you deal with, kids where respect is becoming, a problem, which I would argue it's not. I think the majority of teachers would probably be shocked to realize that they are the problem. It's wild the amount of teachers who are like, you will respect me because I am the leader and I've been teaching for 20 years, and it's like, fuck you. That's not how this works. You first, and especially as the adult in a teacher-student relationship, I owe them the respect, first of all, before they ever owe me anything. That's just how I viewed it when I was teaching kids who are generally considered of a difficult age. That sort of 14 to 17-year-old, and funny enough, consistently, my kids performed the best. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm good at what I do. I am good at what I do, working on that self-confidence. So no, I completely understand this respect is always earned and not given. Absolutely. This is, like I said, you and I could not be more aligned. Cosmo, one of my lovely channel members is up next, and Cosmo has said, this one I really like. Specifically, more masculine presenting people should try the whole long hair thing, and then also vice versa, more feminine presenting people should try the shaved head, short hair, or fully bald kind of hairstyle. Again, I could not agree more with this. I find this was kind of interesting to think about when I was writing this down, because it made me think necessarily that I live in a conservative town, but there's definitely that lean. So, it's really interesting. She ended up saying, she was like, so anyway, I was kind of racing this guy. I wasn't being dangerous. I did get in front of him though. So, this was at a point in time when I had full head of pink hair, and I was also in my makeup, and I was wearing like really prominent eyeshadow. And she said something that kind of changed my approach to how I felt about my gender, because in my head I was like, I'm definitely more on the feminine side. I definitely have, and I would agree with that. I love the fact that I am quite a feminine person in my real sort of day-to-day life. I hope that shines through here. But she said, I love that you have that sort of like very feminine lean to your expression, but that you are not afraid of more masculine things. And then she went on to list a couple of things that I didn't even know. I never really thought of myself as like masculine. In fact, I wanted to try to get away from that because I had a negative association with masculinity. She was like, you are willing to like kind of assert some things, and at Starbucks, I was the only man working at that specific location at the time. So, and we live kind of close to some oil industry. A lot of people in Alberta do. So, there would be, of course, a lot of straight men coming in, and straight, slightly conservative men, but she was like, you have a great way with them, but still in that sort of feminine way, but in a way that they fully see me in my eyeshadow, but they don't shy away from me. They actually like interacting with me. And then also, this is something that I didn't really know, and that I don't like to say a lot, but I am quite strong. I love saying that about myself now, but I used to do the orders. I used to lift a lot, quite a lot, and of course my legs are quite large because swimming. So she said, I love that you blend your masculinity in with your femininity, and then I was like, would you say that I make masculinity for myself, that maybe I don't necessarily follow standards? And we kind of had this really cool conversation about like what those kind of expressions are, and I would say, Cosmo, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that even within more masculine presenting people and more feminine presenting people, I think that we should try to do a lot more work of making that sort of gendered expression seafood, and she'll eat chicken if she has to, but it's just, I find this opinion very interesting because like I said, kind of get where you're coming from. Dry chicken, that just kind of like, it builds up, if you know what I'm talking about, you know, or like white meat on turkey. Get that shit off my plate. I'll also do ham. I do quite like ham. Flower Child also hates fireworks. Having a dog actually did change my opinion on this. I do still like the visual of fireworks. I find them very pretty. But like the noise of fireworks is just so distressing for animals and like wildlife and things like that, that I can understand where you're coming from. I do, however, find them incredibly pretty. I just feel sorry for like all dogs. Whenever there are fireworks going on, Canada Day must be like a traumatizing event. Same thing for New Year's. I far prefer like watching something on TV for New Year's with my family. And then the third unpopular opinion is that Flower Child cannot stand skin sounds or overly fast ASMR. It's kind of interesting that I just also talked about this in my Q&A video, but I am on board with you. I dislike that sort of like flappy ASMR. I don't know what you call it. If there's a little bit in a video, I'll be okay with it. If somebody is like putting on lotion in a video, I'm not that upset about it. But I can't just take like fluttering. Same thing like, oh, I already said this, but I still cannot stress enough that I hate it. And this is again mostly a thing with male ASMR artists. I'm not trying to make a generalization, but whether like I can't do it because it makes me cringe when I do it, but it's like that. No. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. It gives me like this. I don't even know how to describe it to you, but overly fast ASMR does that to me. I can, however, take like a fast but not frantic whisper. If somebody is whispering like this and it's still very well measured out, but it's a little bit faster, the pace is picking up a little bit more and they actually know what they're saying and they know what they're going to say, I'm okay with that style. I just can't take like the, okay, today we're gonna do fast and aggressive ASMR, so like we're gonna do like and then like it's just like all filler words, it's not planned out. I don't know. I'm very particular about my ASMR. So I can see where you're coming from on this one. It's funny, all of you are like quite like-minded to me in some ways, which is kind of interesting. Next up is an opinion from Barbie Hannibal, and to kind of again condense things down just slightly, I will pull up the comment here, but essentially, actually, you know what, I'll read the comment and then I'll condense it down a little bit. This is, I think, the most like political one, but I do agree with it. So let's see, as far as okay, so the comment says, as far as unpopular opinions, I don't support the concept of land ownership. It's super weird to me that there have been so many horrible things that have come out of it. A plot of earth does not belong to anyone, no matter how many papers they sign or how much they pay or how much blood they spill to claim it. Yes, absolutely. I do also find it kind of odd that there has been so much sort of hay made about owning land. This, I think, comes from I clicked the wrong thing here. There we go. This, I think, comes from living in Canada, and kind of like for my entire sort of life that I can remember, it has been in the Truth and Reconciliation era, where there has been sort of an ongoing national conversation on how to sort of try to acknowledge and then also heal from the wrongs that the British colonial government, and then by extension the Canadian colonial government, has sort of inflicted upon the Indigenous people here. So it has led to a lot of thought, at least I think about what like treaties mean and what the sort of goal behind them is and what indigenous society used to look like and what indigenous culture used to look like. And like, I think that this is a fully valid opinion. I feel like it's going to be hard for humanity to evolve from this sort of concept. But then the other thing is that somebody living in the year 1300 also would have found it incredibly difficult to conceptualize a world where the monarchy was not the all-powerful sort of institution that it is not today. Like, it would be impossible for them to kind of conceptualize the idea of a government that is even like polling the people for their opinion on who should lead. So like, I think that it's really interesting like that a lot more people, especially in nations with long colonial legacies, I think people in New Zealand can relate to this. I think people in Australia can also relate to this, where there is this horrible legacy of British colonialism where land ownership and sort of capitalistic ideas were imposed upon the land, and what we can do to evolve from it. I think there's a lot of very interesting conversations that can arise from that. So I am on your side. I can really see where like you're coming from on this one. I think that it is really good. I didn't like your comment specifically so that I could read it, but now I am going to click. There we go. Okay. Next up, we have an unpopular opinion from Skylar McCormick, and this one says Gotham would have way less crime if Wayne Enterprises just simply bumped up wages. I am not intimately familiar with the world of Batman, but I feel like this can be like extrapolated out to our world as well, where like there is a lot of like, again, in conservative circles, there's so much hay made about like crime and violent crime and whoa, scary. Meanwhile, it's like, okay, but we're also not living in a society that is generally paying people. So what else can they do? This is like specifically in like the shoplifting conversation and things like that. It's like what do you expect people to do? Like, if you're going to make bread impossible to buy, if you're going to make food impossible to purchase because it's too expensive, some people are going to have to resort to some things. And so I can see where like it comes from. Of course, I think Gotham has a huge problem with like gangs and goons and of course villains, which we do not have those. Well, Elon Musk. It's funny though that the evil ones in our society are the rich ones, versus in the sort of in the world of Batman. But I would probably agree that like if Gotham is a bad place to live because wages are low, organized crime is just sort of like, well, that's how a lot of organized crime gets organized, is that people can't pay for anything and they can't find work that pays well enough, so join an extortion racket. It's like the Godfather, the Mafia, whatever. Okay. Next unpopular opinion is from Melanie. And Melanie says that chocolate is disgusting. I do disagree with you on this, but I find like the type of chocolate that like goes Emma likes pomegranates, and I'm gonna say that the whole like egg ick thing, some people probably like legitimately don't like them, but again, drives engagement. So it starts a conversation on the internet, and you can put ads on that. Okay, next up is an unpopular opinion from Summerhead. And Summerhead says that a long commute can be very relaxing, specifically on public transit. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes, it can be. My bus ride into university was probably about 40 minutes all told. So like 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. So like on average I was spending 80 minutes on public transport a day. And I found it incredibly relaxing. I got into podcasts. I would listen to my music. I would look for new music. But yeah, I love it. I love a long public transit ride. I would do work. I would write essays. All that kind of stuff on public transit. The next one is from Lady Pissed, Ladypist, not Pissed, but I kind of like that your name is that. The next one is Lo-Fi ASMR is the best ASMR on this channel. That is not an opinion, that is fact. Just kidding. If you are not a fan of Lo-Fi ASMR, you are valid, but you likely don't watch my channel. Because I think Lo-Fi is the only way that I would describe my content. Next up, and last unpopular opinion is from Lolcrina, Lolcrina, Lolcrina. And I've never heard of this either, but Lolcrina loves to eat something salty after eating something sweet. I didn't know that this was a thing, and then it got me thinking, do I like to do this? And really, I am not a huge fan of sweet in general. I am a fan of, and see, okay, so then this made me start thinking, the matcha lemonade at Starbucks, I love that kind of sweetness, but really that's more sour because it's got lemonade in it. A lemonade drink I love, pretty much the only sweetness I really like is like